Unhealed people don't just hurt themselves, they hurt the people trying to love them.
So after this long ass week that we've had, so how you feeling today?
Um, okay.
Yeah.
Just okay. It's been a very long week, for sure.
Why? How's your week been so far?
Um, is I'm just coming under the weather.
Nice.
So yeah. How about you?
Um, I was good. I was all right, but then now, thankfully, towards the end of this week, I ended up. I don't know if it's fucking allergies or if it's a cold, but my it's kicking my ass, and like I'm pretty sure you guys can hear. I got a sore throat, so if you see me coughing or sneezing around here, my bad. I'll try to hit the mute button as much as I can, but so yeah, that's starting to get at me now. So I'm a little bit more exhausted, especially now that uh, it's been a heavy week. So
Not to mention this weather is crazy.
yeah, like it was
How
it
was
was
it in the 80s
it
and
was 80.
90s?
Yeah, it was 80s, 90s like last week, and then now it's or
And now
this
it's
week,
like
and now it's like
in the 40s
50s, 40s,
and it's raining.
and it sucks. So
Well, today we definitely are drinking coffee.
hell yeah.
It's well, it was supposed to be early morning, but now it's the afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, you can have coffee. Coffee's coffee. You can have it whenever
Yeah.
you want it.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on my iced coffee though. I think.
I think we still have time for that.
Yeah, we'll have
Still
some
have time
time.
for that.
Yeah.
But when we talked about this topic, because today we're talking about healing, not hiding.
Or healing versus hiding, maybe. I don't know.
And it still feels too raw and fresh for me.
Yeah, I think within the last year or so, um, it's been it's been more hard for you, uh, dealing with childhood traumas and lifing and all everything in between that.
A lot of transitions.
Yeah, so it's like not that it's been hard
For
for
me, it's
but
been
for you
hard.
it's been hard. Not that I can say, hey, I know what you went through, or um, I can feel your pain because I didn't have all of that. But it's it's definitely a truth to, like, no matter what age you are, what stage of marriage you're in, you're always gonna have some type of drama. You're always gonna have some type of trauma as well, that you need to heal from. Whether it's your current relationship, past relationships, or even personal relationships that you have with people. There's a lot of healing that needs to be done sometimes, and this is one way to do it. So I think it's definitely, for me, looking at the things you've been going through, I have learned that there's certain things that we hid better than heal it. And so I think those are some of the things we're going to talk about today.
Yep, for sure. Because it's a journey, guys. It's it's one of those where, like, it's hard. I mean, that's all I can put it. Like, all in one sentence. It's hard and it's
Yeah,
very challenging, and it challenges your relationship.
I don't think it only challenged our relationship or your personal growth relationship. I think it at the same time it also challenged, you know, your own, I don't want to say will, but your own, like, motivation to be like, all right, do I still, like, because I'm going through this hurt during the healing, do I want to continue that hurt? Like, do I still want to put myself through that? Or do I just want to give up and continue hiding? So it was
or continue being the victim.
Yes.
That's a big one.
Yeah, victimizing yourself is also just as bad.
Yeah.
I think one thing that came true was continue to say, "Damn, I done been through all this shit, and I don't want to keep holding on to it." And that's one thing you kept saying was, "I don't want to keep holding on to it. Like I want to heal from it, and I want to get over it."
Yeah.
So that's that's something real that you got to dig deep within yourself to be like, do I want to continue this hurt to heal? Because healing sometimes hurts. And that hurt is what leads people to hide it.
Yeah.
So, the one thing that I do see is the strength, right? You're not letting that actual fear, take over you. That actual like, damn, do I want like nah, you wanted that shit. Like you wanted the like, nah, I want to be better. Not only for myself, but for my kids, for my marriage, for my, when the time comes, your grandkids. So that way you don't continue that generational bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think seeing that is what I was like, all right, like she got this. Like it's gonna take time,
Yeah.
but you got this.
Yeah. And I would say it's been a few years now that,
Yeah.
that I've been going through this. I'm going to call it a journey because it is a journey,
Yeah.
but it's been a few years and it's had its ups and downs.
Right.
I think more down than ups. And there's been a lot of going backwards and not forward.
Yeah, I think there was times where you it's like I said a couple times, like you went 5 steps forward and then 3 steps back at times.
Maybe sometimes even more.
Yeah, and so that back and forth was a struggle.
Yeah.
And I know it wasn't easy because there was times where you spend nights and days crying, like damn. So to not be able to, I don't want to say help, but not well, what can I do? I can't do shit.
Yeah.
Other than say, hey, I'm here for you. You want to talk about it, I'm here to listen. But I mean, other than that, like I couldn't say shit.
Yeah. I don't want to cry. It's still too early. All right.
So, what's some of the things you think is key in hiding versus healing?
Comfort.
Uh huh.
I think sometimes, just saying, I don't want to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be, with your partner, with family, with any relationship that you have with anyone around you, sometimes, you know, it becomes better
Yeah.
at, hiding it and confronting it.
Right. But
And
sometimes that like you know you need that confrontation.
you do because, you're just delaying the progress,
Yeah.
and at any given point, it can just blow up in your face,
Yeah.
and sometimes people just, you know, me per se, I can just only speak on behalf of my experience. Sometimes it becomes easier hiding it just because you want to keep the peace.
Yeah, because you want to bottle that emotion to not to
Just
not
walk
confront it.
away and
Yeah.
just like be like, all right, let's just keep it moving. So it becomes sometimes easier just hiding it and just going with the flow
Yeah.
than actually confronting it.
Right.
Like, do you really want that healing?
Mm.
That's just like you were saying, that's just a question that you have to genuinely ask yourself.
Yeah.
Do you want the healing?
Yeah.
And if you say yes, it's a lot of hard work you
Yeah.
have to put into it.
Because not only that, but when you try to hide it, you try to act, that like normal, like nothing's wrong.
Hmm.
So that all that does is bottle your emotions up, and almost kind of say like, yo, like the shit you feeling, like you shouldn't be feeling.
And it's a facade because it's like, I don't know if you've seen that commercial that the it's an old commercial,
You know,
but
show
it's
your
it's
age now.
it's the commercials when they were trying to advocate or trying to promote some depression medication.
Yeah.
And then, the person, you can generally look that they're depressed and they don't want to show any emotions. So they have like this little, like a little
Oh, the bag. It was like
picture,
a bag or something or a
a
picture.
picture where they'll just have it in their bag. And then whenever they're like in front of the public or whatever, they just put that face
Yeah.
like with a smile.
Right.
Like that was me for a long time.
Un disfrase.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
you're painting a picture.
Right.
Wherever you would walk into a room and you'd be like putting a smile, hey, good morning, and it usually tends to be the people that are like the most giddiest and the most happiest are the ones that became the best at hiding it,
Yeah.
and that was me for some time.
So let me ask you this: why do you think people choose to hide it?
To just not deal with it.
Yeah. I think part of it, like the reason why, like you know, I hid certain things is just to not have that argument of like almost like an argument. You know what I mean? Because there was times where like I was smoking, right? So when I smoked, and I think we had this conversation about a couple months back, and I was like, yo, one day I know one day I'm gonna start smoking again. And it was just like, and I mean like, and I wasn't talking about like smoking cigarettes. I was talking about smoking like Black and Mounts because that's what I smoked. Well, no, I smoked Newports too, but and I was like, you know what? I think one like because it was just so like everything was so stressful. I was like, you know what? And that was my go to was like, all right, I'm gonna go have a cigarette or I'm gonna go smoke. And I think, and it was like a rough like we was going through it, and I was like, yo, one day I know I'm just gonna pick up another Black and Mild and I'm just gonna smoke it. And he was like, no. Uh. So it was just like, all right, so let me just not tell you to avoid that confrontation. Just be like, you know what, whatever. I'm just not gonna say nothing. Versus saying like, yo, like I'm stressing myself. Oh, my bad. I'm stressing myself out through this shit, and I just like, my go to is smoking instead of just being like, you know what I mean, like this is the shit that I'm going through.
Yeah.
And I think people they just don't want to argue anymore. Like, not that they don't want to argue. It's just like I'd rather just not deal with it. Like, I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. And people just they change the subject.
Yeah.
Like when the conversation becomes deep or when they know that it's something that it's gonna trigger, something that they're going through,
Yeah.
they're definitely, there's a lot of times where, people just start joking around. They'll just start like, you know, bringing in that humor to kind of like
Yeah, but I
deflect from
yeah,
the
but I mean I do
conversation.
that too though. Like sometimes when I don't like I generally don't want to be serious. I'll definitely joke around about like very important shit. And I think at a certain point like you're an asshole because
You said it.
I mean
You said it,
I like I know
honey.
it's all right. So it's like the other day when we had that conversation with Ellie, our daughter, and you know she said something to me and she didn't like how I responded. Like me and her, we have a real open like at least we try to have an open communication. And
You have a
I
safe space for
yeah,
her to come and talk to you
I
about
mean
things.
yeah, and I mean not only that, but like for people who and I know there's some people that look at how we talk and they're like, yo, like y'all wow, because like I'll let her like she because we curse. Um
Y'all curse.
yeah, like we curse
Rephrase
like
that.
yeah we curse.
Y'all curse.
And so like sometimes like me and Ellie will talk and she'll be like, bro, like you know what I mean? Like that comfort zone. So she said something to me and I was just like, I forget what my response was, but I was just like, okay, well, whatever. And like she didn't like my response. I don't remember what I said exactly, but I know she didn't like my response and she was just like, later on when we kept talking, she was just like, I didn't like how you responded. You were a dick. So I know that's how I get. You know what I mean? Not necessarily the best, but I joke just because it like certain shit. It's just like I like. All right, I don't want to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
I know that pissed you off a lot.
It does.
Yeah. And I think, you know what I think also, you know, why people tend to hide shit is because I know for us, a lot of it is like a pride or ego thing. Um, like there was a lot of times where like you were just stuck in your ways, or I was just stuck in my ways, where we wouldn't at that point we just stop talking or stop communicating what was wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Elaborate.
So, like, let's just say, like, I know, I know, this one thing is good, right? But you're like, oh, well, I didn't may not have grew up that way, or I didn't have that experience, or this, that, and the third,
Hmm.
and you were just like, no, so we're not gonna do it, and I'm like, no, we are, and there was just times where that pride of unknown, it stopped it stopped you from making a decision.
Hmm.
So I think that pride of like, I'm right, you're wrong, or you don't know what you're talking about. I know what you know what I mean? So that shit, it held back a lot, I think, too.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But thankfully, we grew past that.
Yeah.
You
So what do
know,
you think about past trauma, though? To heal from past trauma, you know?
it's
I think it's key to actually, 100% heal from past trauma.
well, coming from okay. This is a very broad subject.
Yeah.
Okay, if we're talking about in a relationship, as far as like your partner, don't bring old baggage into your new relationship
Yeah. Yeah.
because that's gonna cause a lot of unnecessary hurt
Yeah.
for the both of you.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of people nowadays, and I know this is gonna ruffle feathers, but like I'm gonna keep it 100. Like people tend to jump from one wagon to the next so quick without giving yourself time to heal,
Hmm.
and that like you're taking a lot of baggage because you're not even done with the first partner to jump into another partner, and then you're bringing all that baggage with you.
Not only that, but I mean, you build these walls where
Yeah.
you make it so impossible for the other person to be like,
And then
shit.
you're causing your other partner to go into a lot of like guessing games and
Yeah.
assumptions, and then they
Yeah.
got to jump hoops and all these other things to try and guess what the hell is wrong with you.
Hmm.
Like that's no cause for that.
So what do you think hiding does or causes to a relationship?
Damage.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be like that saying goes, that elephant in the room.
Yeah. Well, it creates that distance now of
Yeah.
like, do I keep working on this, or like, should I keep pursuing this option?
Or do I hide it?
Right.
Like how how far do you think your relationship will go if you continue hiding it?
Not only that, like eventually that like you keep bottling that shit up,
It's
like
going to
it's
blow up on
it's
your
gonna blow
face.
up. Yeah, exactly.
Because guess what? There's going to be something that's going to trigger it to the point where you will no longer be able to hold it in.
Hmm.
And then guess what?
That's when everything come out.
Everything comes out, and then you're going to start pointing fingers at each other. And then you're going to start accusing. And then it's no longer me and you. It's going to be no, this and this and that and that. I'm right. You're wrong. And then guess what? Every other argument that you're going to have is going to come and lead right back to that.
Yeah, and you know what all of that does? It kills intimacy. It kills not only physical intimacy, the sex, but it also kills your um your emotional intimacy.
Your connection.
Right.
Kiss it goodbye.
Yeah. Cause I mean, like, cause you start building like is all right. So when you building your foundation, I tell this shit to the kids all the time. You know, when you find your person, you know what I mean, and you start building connections and emotions and all of that shit. What you're doing is you're just building that shit up brick by brick. And this took me a long time to learn. Is that you know the more bullshit and drama that you bring and you don't actually try to fix the shit, you're building cracks in that foundation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because there was a lot of times where like we said in the beginning of our marriage, where we've said this here, where we let people in or we start hiding shit from each other, and then all that did was build fucking cracks in our foundation, and to the point where we lost lack of trust and everything. And to tear that shit down to then build it brick by brick is it's rough. It's a hard. I mean, not saying that that shit can't be done, because we're living proof that it can be done, but that shit took
It takes a lot of hard work,
a lot of time.
a lot of tears.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the one thing that I have here written down is you're physically there, but you're emotionally unavailable.
Right.
And that's a big one
Yeah.
because you're there in body, but you're no longer connected emotionally to that person,
Yeah.
especially when those triggers come.
It's like the way I look at it is I see it as cheating, right? So I always consider when you cheat on your spouse, right? So for a man, it's a physical thing, right? It's just like, damn, like I just need something. You know what I mean? For women, it's an emotional thing. So when 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 you look at what you just said, emotionally, it's like you're emotionally cheating on your spouse, because now you're not. You know what I mean? Like, you can't bring it to them. You try to get all these outside opinions and outside thoughts, and all that shit comes in, and it's just like, I got to bring this to you. So that's how I look at that.
Yeah. And hiding it's so much to it that it's like you might as well just win an Oscar. Just put
Yeah.
it that way.
Yeah.
Because like a big one, and we did a skit to this not so long ago, was you get so caught up on your phone, you're always trying to stay yourself busy and all these other things. And then, your spouse did something to you, or your partner did something to you, or your mom or your dad or whomever,
Mm-hmm.
you have a relationship with, and you never spoke up. You
Mm-hmm.
hold it in. And then when that person comes and sees how indifferent you are, and they question you, like, hey, what's up? Like, you seem indifferent, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the response? I'm good. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm all right. And then you just try and maintain busy. And then guess what? The person is like, what did I do wrong?
And I think, and I have that actually written here, is where I think people need to stop that, oh, I'm all right, or I'm fine. Like, that's bullshit. Like, we all know it's bullshit. Like, just,
Or the silent treatment
yeah. Like, I rather you tell me
up front.
clearly, right? Like, yo, like, this is fucked up, or this is bad, or whatever. Like, I'd rather you tell me that shit, and I don't want to say hurt my feelings, but I'd rather you be like real
Yeah.
than to be like, oh, I'm all right. And then, so, all right, if you good, I'm good. But now I feel that tension of like, yo, you're not really good. You see what I'm saying? So I
Hmm.
think that whole bullshit of I'm fine, or I'm good, or this, like, nah, like tell me, because I need to know, because if not, then how else am I supposed to fix this shit?
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think one time we blew up at each other because of that.
think we've blown up to each other a lot of times because
Yeah,
of that.
but we not toxic though. All right? We ain't that toxic. But because we're just like, oh, I'm fine. Oh, I'm fine. Like, nah, like I've known you for over 20 years. Like, I know you ain't fine. Like, I know you ain't good. You look fine, but you ain't good.
What I'm gonna tell you though, and just like he said, we've known each other for 20 plus years. So he knows he knows very well. And this is one of my big like ilks or my big like it gets on my nerves is I come home from work and the house is in my eyes it's a hot
That's a filthy mess.
mess. To come home and having to like do dishes, put dishes away, the garbage, the recycling and to then freaking cook dinner and all these other things and everyone is just there and not doing anything to help.
Yeah.
Like, and then he comes home and he's like, "Oh, how are you?" Peachy.
Yeah. Like it's my fault. Like I ain't like
I'm
but
like,
I do but I
fantastic.
do come home and while you know what I mean, while you're cooking, I'm all right, so I'm cleaning up the
Yes.
dishes and I'm throwing the
But
trash out and shit.
these are prime examples of
Yeah.
the, you got to speak up, you know, because for sure when he knows that my sarcasm will come out straight up and he asks, "Oh, so how was your day?" Fantastic.
Yeah, like
Couldn't have been better.
but you do it like yeah, and then you do it like this shit's my fault. Like I've been at work for the last 12 hours. Like what do you want from me? So I think, that frustration of just like the bullshit of oh I'm good. Like, nah, like so I think that like you just gotta be upfront, man. Like marriage or a relationship isn't always perfect and it isn't always without flaws or without some type of discretion.
Yeah.
Like just talk about that shit. There's like I told our son and I've told multiple people, you know, unless it's like cheating or some type of what's that shit called?
Of what?
Like when another word for cheating.
Infidelity?
Yeah. Like when it's some type of infidelity or cheating, divorce or breakup should never be a card you put on the table. You know what I mean? It should be like, all right, how can we fix this? How can we move on from this? What can we do to help
Or not necessarily
process
fix
it?
it, but how can you find a middle ground
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, there's going to be certain things that you
that
and
you
I don't
can't
agree with.
fix?
That you just got to find that middle ground.
Yeah.
So, but you have to be willing to be like, all right, let's work on this shit versus all right, we just breaking up. Like because at the end of the day, like you can't not that you can't do it, but like you don't want to do it. You're not that's not the best option.
Yeah.
So that's what I think.
And to our next point, when you decide to like hide all of this stuff and not confront, your situation or whatever it is that you're healing from, is going to grow a lot of resentment and create a lot of distance. It's going to make your partner feel alone,
Yeah.
and it's going to turn, like I always like to put it. I'm going to say it in English, but then I'm going to say it in Spanish. It's going to turn small issues into big ones. Like, va a ser un riachuelo en un mar,
Yeah.
you know? Like a small creek into an ocean, in other words. And
That's that SAP button.
it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Very like
Because any
if
little thing you're just gonna blow that shit out of
yeah,
proportion.
like if I can turn back the hands of time, and if I knew what I if
if
I
you knew
knew
then
now what
if you
I
knew then what you know now.
eso mismo. Like I would have done it so differently. Like
Yeah.
I would have sought help so much sooner. and I would have never put our relationship and our kids through the hardship.
Yeah. I mean, you good. I know.
I
Yeah.
guess it's just, the mom guilt
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah. I mean, we get, we're here for you. We're here to support you. And, I mean, like, this isn't, so this is big, right? We're here to help you through your trauma. We're here to support you through it. Um, which leads us to a question that we both had written down. And it was,
Is it your partner's responsibility to help you heal or yours alone?
and I think to answer that question, it may not be my responsibility to, I don't know, like, I don't think it's my responsibility to help you heal, but I think it's my due diligence to be here to support you through your healing. Because I can say, yo, you got to fix this shit until I'm blue in the face. But until you're the one
That's
that's
not a nice way to put it.
not, that was bad. My bad. But you know what I mean? Like, you got, like, for me to say, yo, you got to fix this shit, I could do that until I'm blue in the face. You know what I mean? But until you have that will to be like, all right, you know what? Let me handle this. Let me take care of this. So I think it's my due diligence to be there to support you and to help you and to hold your hand through it. But I think you have to be the one to decide to fix it.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I agree.
Really? I thought you was gonna fight me on this. I ain't gonna lie. I thought
No,
I thought you was gonna really fight me on this.
no. It's not no one's responsibility but your own,
Yeah.
because you're the only one that can process those emotions. You're
Right.
the only one that can process all the hurt that you feel,
Yeah.
because like you can tell someone how you feel, but at the end of the day they're just going to walk away,
Yeah.
you know? And it's technically only up to you.
Yeah.
Do you want to heal and become a better version of you, or do you want to continue playing the victim and saying, "Oh, well, such and such hurt me,"
Or
and
this hat. Yeah. Yeah.
and that's it. And then you just continue, and then you just grow resentment towards that person.
Right.
Then every time that you see that person, your atmosphere changes. Every
Yeah.
time that person steps foot into a room,
Mm-hmm.
so like you have to grow from that,
Yeah.
and you have to heal from it. It's uncomfortable as no other. 100%. There's days where it's hard, and then there's days where it's easier. Yes, but you have to sit down with yourself, and you have to dig deep within yourself to make that determination and make that decision.
Yeah. Because I mean, at the end of the day, shit, my bad. At the end of the day, you got to be the one to decide if do I want to be better?
Yeah.
Do I want my marriage to be better? Do I want my relationship to be better? Do I want my relationship with my kids to be better? Relationship with my family, how do I want that to be? You know what I mean? So until you could decide that shit, like, man, you just gonna destroy yourself, be piece by piece.
Yeah. And not only that, you're gonna, hurt the people around you that are really trying to
To
help
help,
you.
yeah. But I mean, and one thing that I do have is like, when you're doing this shit, and you come in and now, it's not only a personal thing, but it's
Do I have mascara all over me?
nah, from here you look good. Promise. Pinky promise. Um my thing is, so, when you enter a relationship and no matter at what stage of the relationship you're in, whether you just started dating, you've been together for a couple years or a couple months, and you you're married 20 years or whatever the case is, it's never it should never be the option of, yo, this is me versus you. I'm right, you're wrong.
100%.
It should always be, all right, let's you and I come together and figure this shit out. Or let's you and I, come together to face this. It should never be it's me against you. It should be it's you and me against whatever the hell we going through. Because I mean, if you don't, you're just setting yourself up for failure. I think.
And your relationship, like, you can't shut out your partner,
No.
and then expect that person to be there,
Yeah, absolutely.
you know. Um, I mean, I'm a testament to that. I shut you out a lot of times,
Hmm.
and that grew a, like, I don't want to say a rut, or it grew some distance between us, or it kind of like dismantled some type of connection between us.
Yeah.
That elephant in the room was always there,
Yeah.
until I said no more, and we sat down and we had this hard behind conversation,
Yeah.
where, like, it was vulnerable as no other,
Right.
and
I think one thing that I wanna say is timing, because if if you wait to the worst moment, you're gonna make things go from bad to worse
yeah,
without knowing it. You're gonna think of, I want to talk about this right now, and it's just not the time to talk about it right now. So sometimes knowing that timing is, or the wrong moment, like you don't want to say that you don't want to have these conversations in the wrong moment, right? Because like I said, you're gonna take it from bad to worse real quick.
yeah.
So I think timing
And
also helps.
not only that, I think, like, at least the person that's going to have the conversation
Hmm.
should at least be somewhat, in a right headspace
Yeah.
to be able, because it's a lot of vulnerability that you're going to be putting,
Oh,
you're
absolutely.
exposing yourself
Right.
basically to the person, and I highly suggest, you know, write it down, because that's
Yeah.
that's what I did.
Right.
I wrote it all down,
You
and
wrote a lot down.
that way I made sure that if I couldn't express it, like, I just passed on the paper to him and be like,
Yo, just
just
read
read it,
this.
just read
Yeah.
it, please.
Yeah.
And because it's a lot,
Right.
and it takes a lot of strength and a lot of courage to be able to open up to someone, to tell them about your hurt.
And I mean, like we said, there's never gonna be a marriage who's ever perfect.
No.
You're gonna have your ups, you're gonna have your downs, you're gonna have your fucked up moments that you're gonna live up to, or you're gonna let it crumble you.
And we're just speaking on the relationship aspect of it.
Yeah.
If you're having some type of difficulty or some experiences with, your immediate family, you know, it it's also that hard,
Yeah.
and it's very vulnerable. Um, I can speak on it, but uh, I'm not ready for it yet. Um, just finding the a good support system helps a lot.
Yep.
Um, I don't know, you can take over.
So I mean, healing comes in all shapes and forms. Um, so like she said, finding the a good support system that definitely helps. Finding resources. Sometimes, there was times where I know we use fucking Chat GBT to be our fucking therapist at one point. So like, find things that work. Me and my cousin yesterday. You know what I mean? We was at my grandma's birthday party, her 90th, and me and my cousin sat down, and he's real big in the like photography and cameras and stuff like that, and so I was just showing him the stuff that I've gotten, and him just being so open to it, like, yo, like, this is dope, like, that support that he gave me helped me, be like, yo, like, I can probably do this podcasting thing, right? So that support of the people close to you and things that you're going through, whether it's traumas, personal gains, your personal relationship, whatever it is, having the right people around to be able to lean on is it's important.
It can make it or break it for you.
Yeah. Um, but you got to find that will to want better. Um, and I think that part of the reason why we started this podcast was to help couples go through certain shit that probably most other people haven't. And so
Or want to talk about.
yeah, so to have, I wouldn't even say a platform because we barely got I'm gonna call it a step. Yeah, it's not a platform yet, but we're growing this to not only connect as a husband and wife or married couple, um, but also to connect as
Parents,
parents,
friends,
friends,
sister,
family.
brother.
Like, you know, one of the things we were talking about yesterday, me and Freddie was well, little Freddie, little big Freddie, is the like the avenue that this opens. Like, yeah, it's a platform for us, or it's our platform, but it's also a platform to create family dynamic, and
Yeah.
which we are, we'll talk about eventually, and we're gonna have, like I said, this is all a starting process for us
Just the
and a
beginning.
learning. So there's gonna be times where we're gonna have to move this to the actual kitchen table, because we're gonna have more people. But like, to turn this and into something that's bigger than us is is what we're here to do, is what we want to do. Um, so, and to have that family support, like, cause he was like, "Yo, we can do this and we can do that." Yo, like,
Yeah.
we was just bouncing off ideas, and so to be able to support those ideas, so like, you could use the same thing for a relationship. Like, if we can just bounce off ideas versus letting it defeat the both of us, like, yo, we can take on the world. Like, we've always called each other ride or die. Like, like, we do this shit.
And not only that, like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with finding outside resources.
Absolutely not.
If you guys feel as though that you can't, come together with, to an agreement on something, find outside resource. There's nothing wrong with that as
Hmm.
long as they're professionals, or they won't stray your relationship, the wrong way. There's no issues with that.
Right.
Um and if by any means you don't have family, you feel as though that you don't have a support system, you know, and if you're hearing this and you feel as though that, you need to get something out of your chest, let us know. Email us. You can keep it anonymous, whatever the case is. You know,
Yeah, we don't share
we
information.
we we want to be able to create that safe space for anyone to come and let us know, like, hey, I'm going through this. What do you guys, what's your take on it? You
Yeah.
know, just like we created such a, we call it our little haven here at our home for our kids' friends to come in
Everybody come here.
and feel like this can be a place where they can be themselves,
Right.
and all of our kids' friends say that.
Yeah.
And, our house is never empty because of it. And it's exhausting, absolutely. But do we love it? 100%. You know, I feel as though, like, getting out of subject, I feel as though I'm more popular now than when I was in high school.
Yeah.
But we want to be able to create that little haven here in our channel for our community, for whether you're a single mom, single dad, whether, you're young, old, whoever you are. If you feel as though that you want to get something off your chest and you don't have that support system, hit us up. We'll be more than happy to assist as far as we can,
Right.
and because it's hard, and you do need someone by your side to be able to get through that hurt
Man, it's
and
like
be able
that
to
saying.
heal.
It's like that saying goes, to take a village.
It does. It takes a village, not only to raise a family, but just, for you to have that support system so that you can become the better version of you.
Mm-hmm.
Because that should be your only competition,
Right.
yourself,
Yeah.
to become the better version of you.
Right.
How can you become the better version of you?
Right.
So it's hard, and I'm here for you.
Word.
I can help you as far as my knowledge sees it, or as far as my hand can reach. I'm more than open to help wherever I can.
Yeah.
And
Right.
by no means I'm a therapist. Take whatever I said with a grain of salt. But I can only tell you as far as my experience,
Yeah.
what has helped me.
Yep. So, anything else? You got anything else?
No, I mean that's all I have.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for stopping by, listening, and votes. If you guys got anything you guys want to add, something you guys want to say, let us know. Email us. Hit the comments down below. Just let us know. We'll be here. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
Peace.